Get in here. Get in here. It's time for Tuesday Huddle. Low key, I wanted to not do a show until I got a new microphone. Because some of my videos, I realized there's an echo in them, and I don't like that. It should not be echoing. I'm going to try to fix my pink microphone. I'm going to fix it. I love it. Like, I just love it. You see, in this thing, and I'm watching, I'm not even looking at the camera because I'm watching the sound on this thing, and it keeps going into the red, meaning I'm too loud, and I just tested this thing. I spent like 10 minutes on it. Anyway, I'm early, so get in here, bring it in. It's time to huddle. It's time to huddle. It's Tuesday. You know what we do. You know what we do on Tuesdays. We huddle up together because we have something to talk about. Okay, we got a lot to talk about tonight. All right, we have Adrian Peterson getting arrested and he's still in jail. How about those apples? He's still in jail. Yeah. Okay. You have NHL coach getting fired. We're gonna talk about that. We have me being so sick of one of these coaches. I'm so sick of one of these NFL coaches. I could put my head through a wall. A wall. Okay. Okay. And the legendary Misty Copeland has retired. And we're going to talk about all of that and more. Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Dez. This is your Tuesday Huddle. And we are going to get into some things. You know what we got to do, though. We'll be right back after this intro.
Admit it. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it loud. Got you feeling so proud. This is how we do it now. Daily Dose with Dez. Got you coming back for more.
Okay, so if you're wondering why I have on a hat and a sweater, you're like, Des, is it really that cold outside? It is. I don't know if you're like me, where you try not to turn the heat on in the house too early. I mean, really, my heat only really goes on if the temperature outside is like 60 and below. Today is really, really cold though. And I also can't have the heat on or the heater because I have one of those too, because where my desk is sitting and the way that the microphone and all that picks up the noise, it literally, like, I've done videos before where the heater, you could hear it, especially my vent from here, that thing be thumping. I know I don't got no problems there. It be thumping, okay? And you can hear it. So I had to put on a hat and get warm. I even have a blanket in here because it's really cold in here upstairs. It's really cold. It's cold. Yeah, it's really cold. So when it's time to transition into that winter gear, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like 2 days ago it was like 90 degrees outside and then we had a smooth 65. Honestly, when it gets like 70 degrees, I'm cold. I'm cold. That's how I know I'm not meant to go back to the north. I'm not meant for it. I used to be thugging out in the cold weather. Now it's too cold. Baby, you can go ahead and just hang it up. Hang it up. Okay? I'm not a cold solar bear anymore. I'm not it. I'm not a koala. I'm not any of those things. I just can't do it. But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about sports topics, and I'm over here venting to you all about how cold it is in the house, because I wanted to at least explain to y'all, like, why I'm wearing a hat. Why I feel like it's all to the side, you know? And I'm probably gonna get those questions asked, like, why is she wearing a hat? But that's why, because I'm cold. You ain't never did nothing because you were cold while doing something. Yeah. Let me do my due diligence over here. Yeah. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment if you're bold enough. Okay? But let's get into these topics because I'm a chat along. Oh. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. 412. We're at 412. We're trying to get to 500 by Christmas. So get people to subscribe. Shoot. All right. Where do I want to start first? Basketball? You want to talk about basketball? Let's see. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. I got locked out of my thing, but I don't be knowing the passwords. Is anybody else like that? You don't be knowing the passwords? That's me. So I can't watch the World Series because I locked myself out of my account. I don't know the password to my account, so I have someone doing it for me. So excuse me. Excuse me for taking a moment to myself. But anyway, like I said, is anybody... What did I say? What was I talking about? Let me know if my sound is messed up. I know it's a few y'all on here. I can see y'all. So thank you. Well, we only got one basketball thing to talk about. So yeah, we're going to talk about this, man. Okay, so I meant to put this on... I keep forgetting I'm mirrored. I meant to put him on the last two shows. So this is Jared Shaw. Jared Shaw played at Utah State, and now he is overseas in Indonesia, where he was playing professional basketball. He had, obviously he didn't really have success over here in the USA, and that's kind of what players do. Even Dwight Howard went overseas to really stack up on the money, play basketball and all that jazz. So I'm going to give you the two stories that I heard, and then we're going to put out the facts. Some of it is facts. It's just a lot of it is just mixed back and forth. So he has now been arrested, and he is facing up to the death penalty because he ordered and had Delta 8 or Delta 9 gummies, right? You know what those are, the edibles. And in Indonesia, that is illegal. And he bought it from a lady in Thailand. She shipped the package over to him. They intercepted the package and tracked it down that it was going to him and then arrested him. In Indonesia, that is illegal. It's against the law. They're also saying that one source says that he bought the gummies because he has trouble with his back, his legs, his joints. He's tall. He has trouble with the jointy joints. Okay. And then another source is saying that he purchased these gummies in efforts to do drug smuggling and distribution. And those are two different major things. Two different major things, right? So, and I seen a video of him, how they pulled him out. And when he read the charges to him, first of all, it's not funny. But people love to go to other countries and do what they do in the United States. You cannot do that. And you would think that Brittany Griner was an example. Actually set herself up for example, but clearly not. But in general, a lot of American people, like actual Americans, go to different countries and they do things that they think that they are allowed to do because they can do it in America. And then in that same breath, we turn around and say that we are oppressed in many ways in America. We don't have freedom of speech. We don't have this. We can't do what we want. No. We have the best. Why do you think that everybody want to come and live here? And live here, okay? Because you can have your Delta 8 gummies. A lot of states is legal now. Go ahead, smoke. Do your thing, okay? Hit the crack pipe. They'll watch you and leave you alone. Not saying you should do it, but I'm saying there's something to be. You can say what you want over here. You can burn the flag in terms of freedom of speech. right? There's so many things you get to do over here that you go into another country and they will lock you up. Probably put you to you know. I can't say that too early on the chat. It's only been in for 10 minutes. Okay? They will put you out. Literally, out of your misery and your dreams if you think that you're going to go over there and do the same things you do over here. And when you go to different places, you should learn the laws, the rules, the regulations. That's what you should do. You shouldn't just go over there as if you know you can do whatever you want to do. And he's been over there for some time, so you would think that he would have maybe learned about where he is. Even different states in America have different rules. So why would you think another country you can go over there and do stuff like that? Over there, that stuff is not allowed at all. At all. It's not even, you don't even think about it. And if you do, well, you know, you got to think harder. Okay. And another thing, I've seen some, bloggers, journalists, whatever, put out on their platforms like, well, this is not a Brittany Griner situation. And of course, they had to connect it to Trump some type of way. Trump isn't going to trade somebody for him and da. Why would he? Obviously, I don't think that he should be facing execution, but why would he? If you go over there and you knowingly, I'm going to say knowingly because you should know the laws and where you live. There's really no excuse for that. You're a grown man. You're a grown individual. You go over there and you break the law. You have to suffer the consequences of the law that you just broke. Again, it's not right necessarily, but you cannot go over to different countries and live in their lands and not do what they call their other citizens to do. You're not special because you're an American. And I'm probably going to get some flack for that, but it's just like accountability is something that seems to be missing from a lot of people. Missing, So again, like, no, we have bigger fish to fry. Ain't that what y'all saying? We got bigger fish to fry. So, okay. Anywho, he said in this statement, I use cannabis as medicine. That was his reason as to why he ordered the gummies, right? And it says that the U.S. basketball player facing execution in Indonesia for over $400 worth of gummies. Very small amount. You may think, we're thinking like, that's nothing. They're thinking drug smuggler. That's what they're thinking. Okay? And this is how it happened. He was in the lobby of his apartment. So it says he stepped down in the lobby of his apartment complex earlier this year to collect a package containing illegally imported cannabis gummies. He thought that the medicine would ease his Crohn's disease upon arrival. It had, but so too had 10 undercover police officers. And obviously, this video is on social media. I did not record the video because no. And especially because they flagged my last video when I put CJ Stroud video up in here. So I'm probably going to put him in here again, but I'm just going to be, I don't know. I'm just taking a break from the videos. I'm trying to get my stuff taken out. We're building over here, okay? I just lost some track. 35-year-old from Dallas, Texas is facing the possibility of I'm going to say execution. I'm going to say the word execution or a long spell behind bars. He was a key member of the Prawira Bandung, who won the Indonesia Basketball League in 2023, and he has scored more than 1,000 points over 3 seasons in the country. But now he is behind bars. And he basically said, again, according to his arrest, I have an inflammatory condition called Crohn's disease that's incurable. There's no medicine apart from cannabis that stops my stomach from aching. During the off season, Shaw lives in Thailand, where cannabis is subject to more, in here, liberal laws. He says that he had endured the pain of endured the pain of his ongoing Crohn's disease without cannabis in previous campaigns in Indonesia, but says that health reasons spurred him to import the supply of 132 gummies. this year. And he was like, I made a stupid mistake. And, you know, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a really, 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 really long article. But if you go to, and I don't even like The Guardian, so I don't even know why I picked this article, but if you go to theguardian.com, it has a much longer article in there where you can actually read it for yourself. Because I always tell you guys, read the facts for yourself, right? I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to give you my opinions, but you should also have the knowledge for yourself if you're interested, right? So I do agree. Yes, he did make a dumb and stupid mistake. And I understand the past couple seasons, he's had to fight through the pain without it. I'm not sure if the pain has now increased because he didn't say that. He didn't say my pain increased to the point to where I absolutely positively needed it. He didn't say that. That's not what he said. He said, I lived through it before, but I was using them in Thailand and I wanted them to come to use them now so I could be A-okay. All right. But again, I still stand on what I said. You need to know the laws and the places of where you live and where you go, because what you can do in one place does not mean you can necessarily do it in the other place. Before I would have ordered anything, I would have looked it up and see if it was going to be a cause for me to possibly get arrested. And I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of your mail is sometimes scanned and tracked and intercepted for safety reasons and purposes. Obviously not I would say everything, because even through USPS, I used to get scans of my mail when it used to come through and I used to know what I was getting in the mailbox. Yeah, that's how I would know if I was getting bills or not. And if I had bills, I would leave them down there. But in this situation, dumb mistake, should have known the rules. And we're going to keep our eye on this to see what the sentencing is. And I do think that him being over there and him being an American, I do think that they're going to try to make an example out of him. I do believe that. And it sucks because does he deserve to have a penalty up to execution? No, I don't think that. But I also think that he's going to have to suffer some of those consequences because he made the decision to do that. My brother, what I would tell you, if you ever was to see this at all, if you get to the point where this is, you're given the best case scenario, maybe you serve a couple years in their prisons, bring your tail back home. Bring your tail back home. We are going to pray for this young man in hopes that he understands the consequences of his actions. And we're going to pray that he gets to keep his life. And then we're going to pray that he brings himself back on home. That's what we're going to pray. Okay, moving on. All right. I feel like it's college football time. Oh, this is kind of small this time. Usually it's huge. When I load these pictures in here, I'm typically, I don't have the camera on. So sometimes I'm like, okay. The AP poll, the first 5, I absolutely agree with. I think that Indiana is really showing up big. I think that Texas A&M, I actually watched their game and against LSU. And at first I thought they were starting off a little slow, but then they just kicked it into gear. It's kind of like a stick shift. You just crank that thing into gear and then suddenly you go. I don't know how to drive a stick shift, so I don't know if that's the right terminology, but it just reminds me of like when you switch the gear and you go. Or maybe I'm thinking of Fast and Furious. Okay. But anyway, Texas A&M really kicked it into gear, and then they really just, put the pause down on LSU, but also LSU as a program hasn't really been the best, so I don't want to compare too much there. I just know that, they looked really, really good. Alabama, once again, went into South Carolina and just handled business. South Carolina was holding their own, though. I think their team is starting to come back around and starting to wake up a little bit. Is it probably too little too late? Probably so. But at least if they can go on and win the next few games for them, at least I think their season will be at least worthwhile. At least get to a bowl game. Okay? I don't know if that's possible, though. This is week 10. Okay. Vandy and Mizzou. Excellent game. Okay? Excellent. Excellent. Miami I didn't see them. I didn't see them. They played, I didn't see them. Ole Miss, Ole Miss being that high still kind of confuses me, just like a pinch, but they played really good. Oregon, Notre Dame, you know how I feel about Notre Dame, but Virginia is up there. Cincinnati, that's a head scratcher there. Louisville, since this whole bottom half, the whole bottom half. Maybe I just haven't seen them play well enough to know. I mean, Utah did. I don't know. I think 1 through 15. I like that. 1 through 15, I like. The rest, I'm not really sure about. I knew that Memphis was going to creep in here because Memphis has been playing really, really well. And they actually beat USF, right? Yes, they beat USF. So I knew that they would be creeping in at that spot. I figured they were going to come in as 25 because they're not, in my opinion, they're not as good to be any further up. And again, that's just my opinion there. I do think that they have an amazing head coach and coaching staff. And I think that head coach is probably underrated. I think that he's a little underrated, just seeing like what he's done and what he's brought forth to that program. But I do think that once people start to wake up, he's going to have some high value offers knocking on that door. I think he's definitely going to have some offers on the table. I could really see him going to, there's a lot of coaching positions that are open right now. So he definitely could fit into one of those positions and actually get in there. And I think he would make a big difference having, and again, not saying that those players aren't talented because they are very talented, but you know, when it comes to different divisions, the level of talent normally is supposed to increase, right? So I think that him going to a place like Penn State and really being able to fix the program, their program is not necessarily tarnished or something wrong with the program. I just think that they already have great talent over there. And I think that all they need is somebody that has some more fire and some spunk to get into them. And I think that coach has that. So yeah, I just think that he'll have some offers knocking on that door pretty soon. And if not, I mean, he's good where he's at. He's good at Memphis. And I think that he'll continue to do well. Somebody else, I've seen a lot of other commentaries about the Tulane head coach. They say that he should be up for some higher value coaching opportunities come here soon. And we shall see. Another one that I did not expect is the head coach from Southern Miss. Allegedly, that coach has gotten his team from being like a 1-11 program to at least winning 6 games and getting to the bowl. And they've been to a bowl game within his first 5 seasons of being there and being the coach. And that, to me, is reading underrated as a coach, right? To take a program and you really turn them around. He's doing what a lot of people thought that Coach Prime would be doing at Colorado, I think. Coach Prime hasn't met 5 seasons yet. But if he came in there and made such a difference right away, like I said, some of these teams are outliers. Some of these people can go in there and turn a program around really quickly because that's just how, how good that they are and how good they really sit and strategically put everything in place with their coaching staff that's around them as well. But for him to go in there for 5 seasons and get them to a bowl game for the past 5 seasons, I think that speaks a lot to the type of coach and a lot of around who he keeps around him and how he decides to move forward as a team. They said the Mizzou coach is basically the same way, how they may think he'll get a higher up offer, but it's like he's already in the SEC. So if you're going to give him an offer, it would have to be at some type of higher SEC school, because otherwise, why would he leave where he's at? So that's just my thing. Let me know what y'all think about the old AP poll. I am definitely, no, I'm not. And since we're here, since we're here, oh, Brian. Well, I will say I did have a pleasure of meeting him when LSU came to Clemson, and I got to cover that game. I was like, oh my God. I got to cover the game. He actually was nice. He was nice to me. Oh, stop laughing. Okay, but LSU has fired Brian Kelly. They have also fired the offensive coordinator. What's his name? I can't even read my own handwriting. Joe. I know his name is Joe. They fired the offensive coordinator, Joe. So they said, both of y'all got to go. We've seen enough, right? And although, right, Brian BK lost his job, he still is going to be very, very rich. Okay. And at this point, it's like, well, we got to pay you anyway. You might as well stay. But no, LSU said we have seen enough. And same thing we've had this conversation before with Billy Napier and DeBoer when he was on that hot seat in the beginning of the season. And everybody kept talking about like understanding what it means to coach in the SEC. Understanding what it means to be elite on every single level, right? And understanding the history of the coaches that were before you and the shoes that you have to fill. Even Kirby Smart said when he was at LSU and they told him that office is not your office. You are basically renting it out. You're borrowing it. It's somebody else's office. Okay. So that kind of gives you the notion of the attitude that they have around there. You don't have any cushion for no pushing. Okay. They are going to hold you to the standard similar to what, Pittsburgh standard used to be way, way back in the day, right? When Mike Tomlin used to come on there and everybody used to get all hype and gung-ho about the standard is the standard, right? And that's kind of how it is, not only just at LSU, but the SEC in general. There's just a certain standard of the SEC. And I know people hate to hear it. I know people hate to believe it. I know people just hate it in general. But it kind of just is. Because when you look at these coaches that are being let go out of the SEC, and other places too, we're going to get to that. But specifically in the SEC, there is really no place for mediocrity, especially at a program like LSU. There's no tea, no shade to Mizzou, but it's different when you say a school like Mizzou, Arkansas, before now, because they look good, Vanderbilt, right? Those are schools where mediocrity could be okay, right? Even in something like South Carolina a little bit. But in these elite programs that have been elite for so long, you cannot come in there and be mediocre. You cannot come in there and just think everything's all bubbles and giggles. Because it's not. Okay, they will giggle you right out of their facilities. And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. They couldn't deliver, so they said, you know what? We're going to deliver you from this school and set you free. Go fly, bird. Fly like an eagle. Because you're not roaring like a tiger. Okay, that's just not what we do over here. LSU has a winning culture. They have a winning culture in almost every sport. So you cannot come in here when football is one of those high commodity sports and think that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to not keep making it playoffs. It's okay to not make it to the natty. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just still living off my 50 mil. No, sir. No, sir. And if this hasn't taught people one thing, and like I said this before, they have money and they will get rid of you. They will get rid of you real quick. All right. So it doesn't matter. doesn't matter. And I find ironic, and I did ask this question very genuinely on X. I was very genuine in this question, right? So as soon as Brian Kelly was announced that he was getting fired, suddenly out the woodworks, it was all of these negativity and all of these negative things coming out about him. And it was like, whoa, where's all this coming from? It's kind of like when a person passes away, right? You'll see people that are flooding it with great things about them. And then you have people on the other side flooding it with super negativity. That's how I felt here, except there's no positivity coming. I've seen one positive thing. Everything else is like, retakes of old stuff, or people are just now coming out with claims, or people are just now saying all these things. It's just like he has entered the hate train. He is getting the Nicki Minaj treatment. That's what he's getting. He's getting the Nicki Minaj treatment for sure. And I don't know enough about him to be able to say, this is true, this is not true, that's not true. People say that when he was at Penn State, no, was it Penn State or Notre Dame? Notre Dame. Yes. When he was there, a student was up on some type of climb thing, and he knew it was windy. The student fell off. Capiche. Right? No mas. Then they say he had a thing to do with Kyron Lacey, which I absolutely don't believe that. That's just my opinion. His Kyron Lacey's father said he reached out. He did not reach out and did not talk to him and he wasn't there for them. And like, okay, we don't know that though. Yes, he can come out and say that, but I don't know that to be true. So that's just what I'm telling you, what I'm hearing, what I'm reading, what I'm seeing. I personally don't know that, so I can't say yes, no, maybe so. And there has been no actual reports of that either. So we don't know. And then they say there was another player that was paralyzed, and BK just like forgot about him and threw him by the wayside. Again, that's the reports that are coming out. And as I say, there's always three sides to a story. Their side, his side, God's side, which is the truth. So I just found it ironic that there was just so much hate and negativity coming out about this man. I'm like, well, where was all this before? Like, genuinely asking, where was all this before? Or did it come out before and it just wasn't enough publicity on it or exposure on it, so they're just bringing it back? Not really sure what's going on here. But yeah, he's definitely had the hate train, and guess what? He didn't care. He don't care. He was seen eating today at a restaurant in Baton Rouge, babe. He said, y'all can say what y'all want to say. I'm rich. I'm not worrying about y'all. He said, haters gonna hate. Okay. Get that. Never mind. Get that bread and leave. That's what he did. So yeah, LSU's looking for a new coach too. Florida, LSU, Penn State. I think, UCLA is going to need another coach as well. Arkansas, Oregon. There's a lot of open vacancies and more to come for sure. More to come for sure. Yeah. Somebody said earlier, Mike Norvell. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, the coaching carousel is going to be, I think, really massive this year, actually. That's what I think. But, hey. Said hey to the chat. Hi. Hello. Good evening. I'm on early. I am on early. I've been on here for 34 minutes and it's only 9:06. That's because I want to go watch the World Series. I stayed up. I didn't stay up all night. I only got the inning 12. When I got the inning 12, I just couldn't do no more. When I got to inning number 12, I said, oh, to God be the glory, I'm going to bed. And then I woke up and seen that the Dodgers won in the 18th inning. The second longest game in a World Series. And Shohei Ohtani, I told y'all that he is not to be slept on. Okay? Made it history again last night. He is just one of them ones. Vladimir is also doing really, really well for the Blue Jays and holding them up. There's another one. Will Smith did not do as great as I needed him to do last night, but Will Smith has shown up almost every game within this whole playoff, them getting into the playoffs now into the World Series. Will Smith has been a person that shows up. Hernandez. Ay, papi, Hernandez. He had me so excited. He was playing so good last night. I was like, oh my God. Him being in outfield, I'm like, now please be mindful that this World Series I've actually sat down and I've been like butt to seat, like in place, watching it, really trying to understand it. And I also started to do like bets with MLB and also hockey, and I'll do really well with those bets. Basketball is sometimey, and football, it seems to just disappoint me. There's only certain ones that cook every time, but usually in these games, like the for NHL, I love doing shot on goal. You just have to know. You have to know. And again, I'm a hockey girl, so you just have to know. Shot on goal. Time on ice. Time on ice is typically an easy one. If you have watched a game and you consecutively see that they're always on there. Like I know that Connor is going to consistently be on ice for at minimum 20 minutes. He's going to spend 20 minutes on ice, period. Right? And then I know for this World Series, Will Smith has, again, he knew as well as I didn't do last night, but Will Smith has consistently had at least one hit. Vladimir has consistently had at least one hit. Ohtani, at least one hit. Like, it's been very consistent. You just have to be able to, again, I'm a student of the game, so I be paying attention and I watch, and I like to read box scores. That's how I learn these sports. So if you're ever just a tip, if you're trying to learn something more specific and you haven't really picked it up and learned it, you have to learn how to read the box score. You read the box score, and once you understand the box score, you're going to understand what you're watching a lot more. So like when I used to watch and I didn't know what shots on goal was, I'm like, what do you mean shots? What you mean SOG? I don't understand what an SOG is. And I was like, oh, okay. SOG is a shot on goals. Okay. And then you start to count, you start to watch them, and it's exciting. I can talk about this. I'm like a nerd for real. You can start talking like, I knew what a hit was, right? But I didn't actually know what. I'm like, a hit's when they hit the ball, right? But it's no. It's when they hit the ball into fair zone. It had, like, not a foul ball. Okay? You got to be in the clear, right? It's like, oh, okay, now I got it. Or when they say, yeah, and again, I was never a huge baseball watcher. So me learning baseball, I'm learning it by like watching and reading the box score. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking about it. We get to our other topics because I can go on and on about this. But I'm trying to watch the World Series because I am just thoroughly entertained. And I told you I was going to root for the Dodgers because that's the American team. And that's what I'm going for. So that's what I'm going for. So we need the Dodgers to get this game 4. Okay? Get this game 4. All right. Okay. Hockey's on my screen right now. I told you I got locked out of my thing, so I can't watch the World Series right now. But the Flyers won. Okay. In a shootout. Toronto Maple Leafs just won. They beat Calgary Flames. I got somebody from the Vegas Golden Knights. They're playing the Carolina Hurricanes. I got somebody on there for my shots on goal. But we'll see. Anyway. We were talking about... Were we in college still? Where were we at? Oh, I got sidetracked. Yes, we're in college. We're talking about Brian Kelly. Okay. Coach Prime. Bring yourself in here to the front. He's in hot water. And it's not about what you think. You may think that, oh, he's in hot water because Colorado is playing like hot dog trash. No, it's not quite for that. Those reports haven't surfaced up yet. Those reports haven't come out yet that he's in hot water because of that. He's actually in hot water because of his faith-based activities that he does with the football program. Yes. I seen a lot of comments that was like, Christianity is under attack. And in this instance, I kind of have to agree. We all know that Jesus is king. So, Christ is king. So, I said that. There's that, right? And when it comes to this situation, though, I think my other computer, okay. I thought I took a screenshot of it. That's the thing. I be taking screenshots and then I send them to my computer and then I lose them. Let me see. Because I wanted to read it from you. I wanted to make sure I got it right. That's Dion. Wait a minute. Show all. Did I delete off of here too? Oh goodness. That's on me. Let me see if I can find it again. Nope. I definitely forgot. I left two topics off of here though. Let me see if I can find it again. Okay. So here it is. So he received a letter and a complaint. So they've complained, obviously, to the athletic department and to the university from Freedom from Religion Foundation. And they argued that his practice of having a chaplain pray with the team and infusing the football program with Christianity is unconstitutional at a public university. And in response, Sanders has stated he will not be ashamed of his faith and will not comply with demands to stop his religious activities, asserting his rights to religious expression. The university has provided Sanders with additional training on the rules surrounding religious expression, right? And getting into like the legal context here, it says the issue involves the separation of church and state, with the FFRF arguing that Sanders' actions amount to religious coercion at a public institution, right? And to me, it also sounds like the university at least is backing him to the point, but they just want to make sure that he understands that basically nothing can be forced. Everything has to be a choice. And of course, I'm always in the comments. Y'all know I live in the comments. So of course, in the comments, almost everybody, even myself, were like, we've always prayed when it came to like game time, when it came to competition, when it came down to getting out there. Like even me being a rabbit 2 years ago, we would get into a prayer huddle, a circle. We would cross our hands and then we would say a prayer, and then we would do like a little cute thing where we would turn around and like throw our hands up. Really, really cute thing, right? And of course, there was a choice, as everybody on our team was of Christian faith, so that choice was a team choice, right? And there's no reports in here saying that players are being forced to pray. There's nothing in here saying that the players are forced to talk to the chaplain. They're forced to go to church. Now, I know that there are some programs that kind of like, it's kind of like you don't really have an option, right? But this is hard for me. This is hard for me. It's hard for me because a lot of you guys don't know, and I'm getting myself together, okay? Don't judge me. But I am studying to be a chaplain. And it's hard for me because I started off by studying to be an Army chaplain when I was active duty, and I wanted to be a chaplain, and I started to go through that process of understanding where I had everything else. I just didn't have the official degree that you have to have in order to be a chaplain, specifically in the Army, but in general, right? I needed to get the credentials. And for a long time, I kind of stepped away from it once I was done being active duty, and I was like, I don't know, maybe it's not for me, But it's like, I didn't just wake up one day and just say I wanted to be a chaplain, right? So for me, when I see this, and then I see the organization is called Freedom from Religion, granted, they have the right to have that organization. They have the right to feel what they feel. But it's also like, that's the thing that kind of irritates me, because how can you say that a person has the right and the choice to not be religious, but then you're telling the person that is religious that they don't have a right to be religious or to believe in Christ or to have faith? That's an oxymoron. It just doesn't work out like that, right? I can see if their complaint was, okay, this is what's happening and we just want to make sure. I don't understand why they care anyway, but we just want to make sure that everybody and every player has a choice in how they perceive this. They have a choice in what they do. They have a choice in if they want to pray or not. And again, there hasn't been any complaints from athletes, not that I've seen or that I've heard so far, that are saying that they are forced to believe in God. They are forced to believe in Christ. They're forced. They feel super pressure, and they can't get away from that pressure. There has been no reports of that. So to me, it's like, well, where is this coming from? Is it coming out of left field or anything? Like, we see game in and game out where players go into the end zone and pray. Players get into prayer huddles and prayer circles at the end of games, a lot of times with each other from opposite sides. So this is not something that's just like Coach Prime just decided to invent and put out into the world himself. This is something that's been going on. It's honestly, it's kind of like a culture thing. It's kind of like a sport thing, because everybody always says, God, family, football. Right? Or some people say faith, family, football, because it doesn't matter necessarily what you believe. You can believe whatever you want to believe. So whatever your faith is. Your faith could be Judaism. It could be Islam. It could be Buddhism. It can be whatever you choose it to be, but that's your faith. Faith, family, football. The 3 F's. Right? So it's kind of like been a thing for a long time. So now that we're attacking it in some way, shape, or form, it's kind of like, well, what drew that in? Yes, I understand separation of church and state because it's a public institution, but again, we also have the freedom to express our religion, right? Do not. So you can have 2 things at one time. And again, there's been no reports that anybody has actually felt as though they were forced to do it. Now, if you're telling me that people were forced to do it, then I would feel some other way. But I don't, because I haven't seen those reports. Right? So it's just kind of like, why is this the narrative? Why is this such a thing? And I commend Coach for standing up for himself and saying, I'm going to continue to express my religious and my faith freedom. I commend the university for saying that they've given him extra training, whether they did or they didn't. That's for them to figure out. Another thing, like sports chaplains, which is what I'm studying. Sports chaplains are they're prevalent. A lot of teams have chaplains on their staff. And again, you choose to go to the chaplain if you want. You choose to go to the chaplain and say, Chaplain, I need you to pray over my knees. Pray over my knees, chaplain. Please lay your hand on me. Right? And there's also chaplains of other faiths. I've seen a rabbi be a chaplain. I've seen different denominations of chaplains. I don't think that Islam would allow their people to be called chaplains. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to be ignorant or disrespectful to their religion, but I've seen a lot of different, especially in the military. There were so many different people that worked under the chaplain's office, like so many different individuals that come in. So it's like, give it a chance. Give it a chance. Let them be. So I'm on Coach Prime's side when it comes to this. I am. And I do believe that you can't say that one person has a choice and then in the same breath tell them that they don't have the choice. We have to stop doing that. Yeah, we gotta stop doing that. But yeah, I don't think that this year he'll be in hot seat for his job. I think because they've invested so much into him, and they just gave him a contract extension. So they're not trying to like let him go too much, too fast, in my opinion. But since we're on football, we're going to just keep going on to football. So another person that I'm tired of here. Let's make that picture a little bit bigger. I'm tired. I'm tired of Mike Tomlin. I'm tired of the defense of Pittsburgh looking like hot garbage. And I don't know why I said garbage like that, but it's just getting to the point of like exhaustion. Like I understand like what other team fans must feel like. I understand what the Browns fans must feel like. Even though we're better. They are better than the Browns, but you know, it's kind of exhausting. Anyway, in a sense, because it's like this, you've put up so many millions of dollars into this defense, and the defense has not progressed in any which way. The defense is still the same old defense season after season after season after season. There's no change. Teams are catching on to it. TJ Watt, I mean, I'm a fan, but TJ Watt has been missing for the past couple games. Where you been? Hey, anybody seen him? Hey, anybody seen TJ? TJ, hello? Turn up for what? He got that money and hit the feet. He hit the feet. He gone. Where you been? You know, it's a little confusing, you know? And this go around, I used to give Mike Tomlin a lot of grace. I used to be like, okay, you know, he's just not a media person. He just doesn't want to talk to me. There's a lot of coaches. That's a lot of people in general who just don't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to us. Okay? They just don't. And that's understandable. But the more and more that I watch him at the podium, the more and more I get frustrated, and I just get sick of it, right? Not answering the questions or beating around the bush to the question. It's kind of like, this explains why the team looks the way it looks. And just keep it a bean, right? We can't go up there and keep saying the standard is the standard, because at this point, what is the standard? Can you define the standard? The same way we're asking them to define what a woman is, what is the standard? It's missing. Can't find it. What is the standard? Just to be above 500? Is that the standard now? Is that where things have come? Because I'm not understanding. Getting to the podium and saying, well, you know, I really hate when coaches get up there and they don't really want to answer the question. So they say, well, I got to go back and watch the tape. Were you not watching the game? Were you not there? Hello? Obviously, you're not going to know everything, but you have to know something if you were watching the game for yourself. I know at some point you probably looked at the game and was like, we sucked on that part. We sucked on that drive. We sucked on that play. You can't give us anything. And it's how I feel with all the coaches that answer this. But like now it's like, let me take off my peaky blinders for a second. Because what he gives to the media is just straight up BS. It's BS. The question about the field. Oh, I don't even know who cuts my own grass. We didn't ask about your grass, dude. We asked about the grass on that field, that terrible field. And is it sand in there or just like extra dirt? What is it? The field looks disgusting. Like what? And we all know that Pittsburgh is a very, very, very cheap organization. I have said it before. Very cheap. They do not want to put their money where their mouth is. They would rather, I don't know if, I don't, where's the money? AccuSure, hello? Did they not give enough? I feel like the rules should have been, if you're going to change the iconic Heinz Field to AccuSure Stadium and everybody had to learn how to pronounce and say AccuSure Stadium, then it should have came with some stipulations of getting a new field put in there. Whatever it needed to be. It should have come with some renovations. It should have come with some, like, maybe locker room enhancements, something. But to have everybody talking about the field, and then he gets in the media and says that he basically don't know nothing about the field, it's just like, are you even there? You know, they say, like, you should never get too comfortable. I feel like he's gotten very comfortable because he's now in his 19th season, obviously the longest tenure as a head coach, and, you know, has had some great years really early on, you know, getting to the Super Bowl and everything, and then suddenly things start to just go downhill. And I also feel like Pittsburgh has an issue, and I've said this before too. Pittsburgh has an issue with holding on to people a little bit too long, or not making a change until it's a little too late, and now things are just everywhere. They're just sporadic, you know. So it's like, oh my gosh, they're very reactive. They're not preventative at all. They don't do any preventative things, like, or any precautionary things either. Like, let's set this up. Let's do this so that way when this does come, the show keeps on going. The ball keeps on rolling. You know, there's so many things we have set in place that when this monkey decides to throw in a wrench, what they say, one monkey don't stop no show, we keep it going. The show must go on, right? And it's almost like every season for the past 7 to 8 seasons, it's gotten to a point where there's been a flush of injuries. They're hanging on by their edges. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the quarterback. There's no franchise options at this point. The one that we got from the draft was hurt very early on, so we didn't get to see much of him, a lot of him to understand. Well, to see if he actually fits into that system. What is the identity of the offense? What is now going to be the new identity of the defense? Because the old identity is clearly gone somewhere. It's lost. We don't know where it is. We're looking for it. What Future say? Turn on the light. We looking for it. Can't find it. And Mike Tomlin gets up to the podium, don't have no answers. And then he gets up there and we do got an answer. It's the same answer that he gave when he said he was standing by Matt Canada and saying, I believe in him. I know him for a long time. We can do it. We know what we're looking for. The standard is the standard. And then he gets up there and says the same thing about defensive coordinator Teryl Austin, who needs a new job, by the way. He needs a new job, by the way. He gets up there and says, I know him. I stand beside him. We've known each other for a long time. He knows what the defense can be. He knows how to run a good defense. He knows his job. He's doing great. We're just going to keep on working. Keep on working. It don't look like you started. Not making sense to me. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. I'm tired. Tired of seeing it. Tired of hearing about whatever it is. Change has to come from somewhere. I told y'all it was Christmas when Matt Canada got relieved of those duties. Offensively, there's still much to figure out, but it looks way better than it did a season ago. So I will give them that. Right? Looks better. Defensively, does not. Looks worse. And it's too many pieces for it to not work out well. Too many high value, expensive pieces for it to not be working out. 30th in the NFL in terms of defense. 30th, and the identity of this team has always been defense. 30th. 30th. What? Crazy. Crazy. For sure, crazy. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. 30th. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is 30th in the NFL currently. And it's about $1 billion over there and within that defense. Tired. And I said this before. I said this on my Twitter. I was like, I'm a legacy fan. My Nana would smack me in the back of my neck with a flip-flop if she found out that I just said I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan anymore. And honestly, I love Pittsburgh. I do. I love everything about the city. I love, like, it's just every time I go, I feel amazing. My best experiences have been at multiple game days. I've talked about these experiences before. Like, I love Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is like in the pits of my soul. I love it that much. You know, I started watching Pittsburgh. So I started being a fan when I was about 9 or 10 years old when Big Ben first hit the scene. So I was heartbroken when Big Ben retired and everything. But I knew that it was time for him to retire 3 seasons prior. I wasn't doing a show back then. So I can't say I said this before. I didn't say that before because I had no show back then 3 seasons ago. But watching the same thing go on over and over again and how much heartbreak. It's like getting to the Super Bowl that one year and we've never been close ever since. And it's like hanging on by a thread, barely making it into the playoffs. But we can never get past the wild card weekend. It's like, now speaking as a fan, not as a journalist. And it's just like having those consistent feelings of that letdown. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like feeling like the Jets. I don't like feeling like the Browns. I don't like feeling like way back in the day with how the Chargers used to feel. I don't like feeling like I'm not gonna keep going on. how like the Lions used to feel way back in the day. I don't like feeling like that because that's just never, I didn't grow up with that feeling on the inside, in the pits of my stomach. So for me feeling like this, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm so tired, right? I'm over it. So over it. And I'm like, I'm going to have to root for another team and root for somebody else. And I have players that I love on my next episode. I'm going to do my top 10 favorite players because I didn't finish the list today. But but my grandma is not going to come down and smack me in the back of my neck with her flip-flop because I said I was not a Pittsburgh fan anymore. But I just, they just got to get it together. For sure. Okay, I have some comments rolling in here. So let me get rid of Mike. Have no standard Tomlin. Let's see what we got over here. Sure, I got here. Okay, this is talking about LSU. Okay, let me read it. Read out loud. Long story short, with Brian Kelly with the BK, the program looked exactly the same from his first game versus Florida State to Saturday's loss to A&M. No progress whatsoever. I do agree there. Absolutely agree there. Kelly was hired to bring his philosophy of strong rushing offense to stout defense to always talented LSU program. LSU was terrible running the ball and defense his entire tenure. Yes. Although, from what people know too, LSU has always been known to have like the best wide receiver core, period. Like some of the best wide receivers in the league right now are from where? Right? So like they always had a really good core there. I've never really known LSU to be a running team, but again, I didn't really have my, what's the thing's called? The magnifying glass on LSU for that. I just always have known LSU to have a really, really strong wide receiver core. Wide receivers coming out of LSU, like that's where you want them to come from. And I think some other great players that came from there, but I've always known their identity to be in the air. LSU's recruiting has declined each year under Kelly, especially with offensive and defensive lines. He also had been Hiring bad coordinators, honestly, it's just been a terrible hire. Yeah, I can agree with that, Brian, for sure. Your name is Brian. You should be Brian No Kelly. That's what your handle should be now, Brian No Kelly. But what? What is happening here? Oh, so, y'all, my computer did something crazy. Like I'm like, it's skitzing out. But I can agree with that. Just it being an absolute terrible hire. But the negative things I've seen we're outside of what you're saying, because all those things are truth. Those are facts. You can look at the stats and see that those are the facts. You know, I'm a facts girly. I love having facts. So all those facts that you're giving, yeah, it was a terrible hire. And you know, like they keep showing the video about him saying how he wanted to come to LSU to win championships and everything like that. But ever since he got there, the only thing he's been winning is that money in his bank account. It's the only thing he's been winning. And fortunately for him, unfortunately for the program, he's going to continue to make that money unless there's somewhere in that contract where they can get around it. But hopefully the next person that comes in there kind of understands the assignment, kind of understands the eliteness, like I said before, that program needs to have and see, because that's the standard, you know, for sure. Also on NFL news, we're going to very quickly give our condolences to the Nick Mangold family. He did pass away due to kidney disease. Earlier in earlier in October, earlier in the year, he had came out and said that he's been suffering and battling with kidney disease, genetic, and that he was like on the transplant list and he was needing it. And I really believe it was about like a month or two ago, he came out and said that he really needed a kidney. And things were obviously progressing really fast. And then we get the news that he had passed away. And one of the most notable Jets, I think, and one of the most memorable people and athletes within the NFL. And it's just sad that we see another NFL legend, you know, leave us so early. And he was not old at all. But it just goes to show that, one, you never know what people are actually going through, or what, you know, regardless of what their sickness is, you never know what their mental is. You really just never truly know. And two, check on your loved ones. Okay, check in with them, especially those who may have diseases and those are getting older. Take them to the doctor yourself to get the word, to get, you know, what's what, so that way you have a real keen understanding. So I definitely think that just something that just you should just do over time, because and a lot of people too, they think that athletes are always like super duper healthy and super duper strong, and we've seen over time that a lot of them are not. So battling, you know, some players have battled cancer. Lots of, you know, a few players have battled cancer and come on the other side of cancer. Him battling kidney illness and kidney disease and so many other things. You know, you just need to make sure that not only you're taking care of your loved ones, but also make sure you're taking care of yourself. I do wish he was able to get a kidney. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know how that kidney thing goes. Like, if he was on the, and you know, they say the transplant list is long. It's long. Like he was probably they did say in an article that he was doing dialysis and really just trying to get through, keeping his hopes up high and really just hoping that he was going to get a transplant. And it sucks because he mustn't have anybody that was, I don't really know how that transplant thing works. I only just know about what I see on the TV. You can't always believe everything you see on the TV. But normally they say if you have a family member that matches you, then you can get their kidney if they decide to give you their kidney. So, I don't know. This is just a sad situation. I should have started the show off with the sadness. But I'm going to switch gears. But I did want to say and give my condolences, my rest in peace to Nick Mangold. And all his family, everybody that was involved, his family, his teammates, his friends, everybody that he has touched, literally sending my condolences and my flowers. You know that's what we do over here. Okay. We're gonna let that one go. Unless you're rich, most people will be low on the transplant list. Matches are rare. Yeah, I've heard that it's long. I mean, even I know. Listen, I know Grey's Anatomy is probably not the best, like comparison, right, of medical. But things that I felt that Grey's Anatomy did kind of show well is when it came to transplants. A lot of times people on those transplant lists they didn't get matches. They were on a transplant list for years upon years upon years. And although medicine is progressing and technology is progressing, there are some things like Crohn's disease. There's just some disease and illnesses that are just, you need what you need when you need it. And I really wish there was a way to change the system some type of way. I really wish there was a way to really, that's not my field of practice though. So I haven't done any research to know, but I just feel like in my heart, I wish there was a way to like change some of this. Cause it's like, gosh, you know who else needs to change though? AP. Yes. Okay. So, I'm minding my business, like I usually do. I'm scrolling down IG. Adrian Peterson comes up. I'm going to read you his thing. But, Adrian Peterson was arrested again on a DWI charge. He was arrested earlier on, and this is in 2 different places now. So he left one state, was like, okay, I'm not gonna go there. And now he went to another state and got arrested again for the same offense. And he's still in jail, by the way. Okay. Don't get y'all news from TMC, by the way. I don't know why I had to tell y'all that, but ooh, somebody did a whole timeline, y'all. The Sporting News. This is on thesportingnews.com. Okay? So we're going to just go through it a little bit. Adrian Peterson, one of the few running backs to ever win an NFL MVP award, is closely and largely considered one of the greatest players to ever play in his position. From 2007 to 2021, Peterson ran a total of 14,918 yards on the ground, building his legend as one of the most dynamic weapons in football behind the nickname All Day. Primarily playing for the Minnesota Vikings, Peterson's career is viewed as one of the gold standards for a running back, both longevity and an outstanding peak. However, throughout his playing career into his retirement, Peterson has found himself involved in various legal issues that includes a suspension for the majority of the 2014 NFL season. And here is basically an overview. So in 2014, he had a reckless or negligent injury to a child indictment. That's why he was suspended. And that happened in Montgomery County, Texas. And essentially it was, he had allegedly used a wooden implement to injure his 4-year-old son in that May. At the time, he was in his 8th season with the Vikings. All right. Okay, that's going long. I basically said it was discipline. He has defaulted on loans. In 2018, he was ordered to repay a Minnesota bank for default on a 2016 loan. Basically, it was for a vehicle. It looks like it was for a vehicle. And it came from a Pennsylvania loan company. And he had to make a full payment of $5.2 million. AP has had some issues, okay? In 2022, he was arrested in LA by the airport police for a domestic violence incident with his wife. Y'all know I don't like that. I don't play about that. Ashley Brown, during the alleged incident in LA International Airport, taking a flight to Texas, Peterson got into a verbal and physical altercation with his wife, causing the plane to return to the airport gate and Peterson being removed from the plane. So he was on the plane acting a fool, a plum fool. He went to jail. He bonded out for $5,000. He was released. And then Ashley said that at no point did he hit or strike her. But, you know, they said it was just a verbal argument. But, girl, you on a plane. You do not do that on the plane. Failure to appear in court. He got a DWI, this last one that I was talking about, in Minnesota. So he was arrested in Minnesota on a 4th-degree driving while intoxicated charge and booked into jail the morning of April 25th, 2025. He had attended a Vikings draft party at U.S. Bank Stadium the night prior and received a misdemeanor charge. Peterson was released on bond for $4,000. He was observed by a state trooper driving 83 and a 55, and a preliminary breath test measured his blood alcohol content at 0.14%. The Minnesota state driving limit is 0.08. Peterson was driving in his Audi Q5, and that's when obviously they pulled him over. Then in June, he was recorded getting into a fist fight with a poker player at the Joker Star in Houston, Texas. And he was just saying one thing led to another. We're cool now. I just had to like punch him in the mouth because he was doing a little bit too much, essentially. And now here, 4 months later, on Sunday, October 26th, Adrian Peterson was reportedly and allegedly arrested in Sugar Land, Texas on charges of driving while intoxicated and unlawfully carrying of a weapon. It is his second DWI charge of 2025. He was arrested. He was booked. And it was saying that he was found asleep at the wheel of his SUV before his arrest. Law enforcement told TMZ that he displayed signs of intoxication and failed his field sobriety test. So he did more than one. A pew was also found inside Peterson's car. TMZ also reported that Peterson confessed to drinking at a poker game hours before he was arrested. Peterson reportedly admitted to a Sugar Land police officer at a gas station after he found him asleep at the wheel. The officer said Peterson told him that he had been playing cards in Houston and that Peterson had bloodshot, glossy eyes as well as slurred speech. So he was still intoxicated when they woke him up. I guess it sucks because obviously he operated the vehicle enough to leave the poker game to get to the gas station, and then he fell asleep at the wheel, and at least he didn't finish driving. At least wasn't driving. He fell asleep, because that could have been a whole. He could have had a whole another situation going on. A confession is diabolical. I mean, right. He basically told us like, I was playing poker, bro. I was playing poker. I was losing. And I got the drinking. So what I'm getting here is that Adrian Peterson has, this is my opinion. I read you the facts. Okay, I read you the facts. I'm giving you my opinion. He has something else going on with him. Something's not right. Mentally, he's not right. Okay? Having years of incidents But it seems that it's getting worse because you just were arrested in Minnesota on a DWI charge in April. In June, you're at a poker game, you're drinking, you're beating people up. October, you're at a poker game, you're drinking, you get arrested for a DWI again. Something is not right. Something is not right. One more time. Something is not right. And I don't want to take it to the point where it's like, okay, maybe he had, everybody now seems to carry a weapon. So, it could be he just had a weapon for his protection. He just had it on him. Or it could be something else was going on. I don't want to take it that far because I don't think it's that far. But what I'm saying is something is not right. Something is not right in the head right now. Something's not going on. He might actually have a gambling problem. That's what he should have confessed to having a gambling problem. He should have said, it's me being, I'm joking right now, but he should have said, officer, I tried to call 1-800 gambling. And they ain't pick up. I gotta go home to Ashley. And Ashley gonna whip me if I come in there and tell her I lost $500,000 playing poker. So I just decided to sleep it out right here. I just decided that after I got off the phone with Ashley, Ashley told me not to come home. I was gonna sleep right here. I wasn't going nowhere. I'm just right here. Right? I mean, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? The DMX song, what y'all really want? It's like, oh. Yeah. I didn't know he confessed. I did not know. I learned that as I just read this. I learned when you learned that he confessed. I didn't know he confessed, bro. I didn't know he did that. I didn't know he did that. But he confessed to beating up the guy at the pro game too. He confessed then too. Oh, I just, it just one thing led to another. Things just got a little bit out of hand. I had to show him who I was. He said I was small. That's what happened. He said I was small. He talked about my height, and we had to go. We had to go. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what he said. That's what happened. But yeah, Adrian Peterson has some issues, and I think he needs to go see the lady. That's what I think. And I don't know because Texas is different. I keep telling y'all, stop going to Texas and breaking the law. Texas is one of those states where they give you a lot of leeway. They give you a lot of legway. You can do a lot of stuff. Just like you can do in Florida. You can do a lot of stuff. But when you are viciously breaking the law, or when you're like, you can't break the law in front of the police. You can't do that. You can't do that. Nowhere. Really nowhere can you break the law in front of the police. But specifically and especially in Texas, why do y'all keep going there and doing stuff like that? Y'all keep going there and purposely breaking the law. Not on accident. Purposely breaking the law. And you don't think they're going to hem you up? You don't think they're going to take you and put you in the jail and lock the door? You don't think they're going to do that? There hasn't been too many examples. There hasn't been too many examples where they've shown you better than they can tell you what they're going to do to you, and you keep doing it? What? Come on, y'all. We've had too many examples. Literally, too many examples. You can't do that. You can't do that. And he's still in jail. So I don't know if he just don't got the money to bond him out. I don't know if Ashley says she's just not going to go get him. Ashley said no. Or if that's the law, where it's like, because it's your second DWI within a 6-month span, you got to stay in there. I don't know, y'all. I feel like he might have got a slap on the wrist the first time. But like, dude, you literally just did this 6 months ago. You cannot in Florida. Stop playing with Florida. Alcohol was definitely his truth serum. Because he told the truth. He just came out and said it. He should have said, you know what, officer, I'm going to fail this field sobriety test. So just go ahead and take me in. Just go ahead and take me in. And you know, I would think that because he is such a pristine, or was a pristine athlete, that like he could do it. Like, okay, they're gonna have you. Obviously, the breath test, he was done so. He was done so. He wasn't making it. But I'm like, you couldn't walk on that line straight, bro. You couldn't like put your feet in front of other feet. Maybe because I'm a dancer, so that's literally what we do. We practice like that, cheer as well. But you know, I don't know. Yes, he needs to turn Catholic and go to. He needs to sit in confession and say, Father, I've done some bad things. I need you to help me as fast, as quick, and as much as you can. He need to stop drinking. He can't drink and play poker, bro. There is drink and gamble. He can't do both, bro. Because clearly when he do both, he gets beside himself. You know, I'll be in them comments. A lot of comments was like, he got CTE. He got CTE. Listen. The report didn't say that. I don't know if he got CTE or not. Okay? But I can only imagine if he does have CTE and he's drinking like that, that's only going to make the situation worse. And I can only imagine that if he thinks he has a high tolerance for liquor and he's drinking, and he's also addicted to gambling, that also just makes it 3 times worse. So, AP, he really need to go see somebody for real. But, you know, he got a lot of time to sober up in that jailhouse. Because as of yesterday, he was still in there. Still sitting in there. So, maybe the judge denied bond this time. Because you know they're going to bring that up when he go up in there. You know they're going to bring it. They're going to say, Your Honor, he was just in a courtroom 6 months ago for this same thing. Except this time he wasn't asleep at the wheel. He was doing 80 and a 50. So. But you know what? I mean, that's not that bad though. Because I'm not going to tell myself. Nope. All I'm going to say is a lot of people. A lot of people go 85 in a 55. Maybe not in front of the cops and the state troopers, but a lot of people do that. A lot of people go 85 in a 55. 75 in a 55. You know? They do. They do. Okay? Depending on how drunk he was, they may be keeping him until he sobers up. They definitely were keeping him until he sobered up. Oh yeah, they definitely. Even though they got the confession out of him, they definitely were keeping him until he sobered up. They weren't going to let him go. I think that's the law. I think that's the law. And if he was already asleep, he had, you know, I'm not. I used to be a drunk in my you know, a real drunk in my past life. You know what I'm saying? I turned myself over to the Lord. As I study the mighty word. I do a little drink from time to time, but I'm not drinking to get drunk. Not AP drunk anyway. I don't even like being like that. You know? So he definitely is going to be getting some of that good sleep. He definitely was. I don't know how good it was going to be. I mean, the floor is normally good. So the cot in there probably feel like the floor. So at least you're going to wake up and have a refreshed back. You know, I don't know. They didn't release no body cam footage, so we don't actually know if they took body cam footage or if he was, you know, that intoxicated or whatever. But the gas station probably has footage. The gas station he was at probably has footage. They have footage. I know they do. Yeah. In Florida, they do be doing 95 on 95. Yes, they do. My family used to live down in Florida. I used to be like, oh my gosh, this highway is crazy. That's why when they say Deshaun, Haskins was walking across the highway in Florida, My brother, what? Do not ever walk across nobody's highway in Florida. Not near one of them. Do you understand? Because they fly by, fume, if they fly by so fast, or you see a swipe, like Fast and Furious, that's Florida. That's Florida. Canada like that too. There's some places in Canada, I think the speed limit minimum is like 100. Like, what? It's fume, like, oh, okay. You're going fast. So, yeah. He gonna need to see somebody. For sure. All right, somebody else that needs to see somebody. Mitch Love. We're moving on to NHL news. The NHL is getting messy, honey. Messy, okay? A lot of people like to say that the news and the media only talks about black people. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay. No, he did not make it. He did not make it. Okay, he did not make it. Look up the story. Look it up. Look it up. Okay, look it up. I'm not laughing because of the situation. Deshaun Haskins, I think it was, 2-3 seasons ago. I'm not laughing because he didn't make it. I'm not laughing because, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm still growing, so they may not clip me and they may not make me go viral. They be like, she laughing at the death. Like, no. I'm laughing because of the way that this comment was written. Y'all can't see the comment, and after I go off live, the comment is not going to be there anyway. The comment is going to be gone. So either way, you're not going to be able to see it. But no, he didn't make it. He didn't make it, bro. He did not. No. Not even a chance. That's why I said do not walk across nobody's highway in Florida. You don't stand a chance. Maybe if you run. But if you're walking and in the dark, you don't stand a chance. You don't stand a chance. You don't even stand a chance. Really walking across the regular street. Forget the highway. The regular street. Hello? You know how many times I used to tell my mama, we not walking to no store at the time of night. Well, I live so close, we gotta drive. Well, if you don't want to drive, we can just, I'll get it delivered. I'll drive. I'll drive. We're not walking on no street in Florida. The way they be zooming down that thing? No. My mom used to live off of Blandon. Okay? If you know, you know. Duval. Off Blandon. You not walking across that street. No, you're not. But anyway. Back to Mitch Love over here. The Capitals have fired him. Especially 95. The Capitals have fired him. Y'all. Okay. What I was saying before I got really interrupted, was people love to say that the media doesn't, they only like to highlight when it's black people committing crimes, or when it's something happened to a black person, and there's negativity about black people, and they don't talk about non-black people, and they don't put their news and stuff out there. And honestly and realistically, yes, they do. Y'all just don't see it. Y'all just aren't watching. Y'all just not paying attention to us. A lot of y'all don't even care about it, to be honest. Y'all don't care, right? You don't care. So like in this situation, I care because I love me some hockey. I love hockey, so I care. I'm like, what? Who? Huh? I got 3 different cases right here that I'm about to talk about. In hockey. White people. It's equal opportunity around here. It's equal opportunity around here. You do something, I put it out there. I've reported on so many different things of non-black people. I don't discriminate. I tell you everything. Everything. Okay? So if you're looking for the real sports news and things, I'm right here. Still growing. Get me to 500. Okay? Because next year we got to get to 1,000. So just help me get there. Okay? But anyway, the Washington Capitals have fired Mitch Love after they have done months long of investigations of him and his accusations of domestic violence. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, if you've been here since day one, I think my very first video was me talking about Dana White at UFC and how he was smacking his wife all around Mexico, and I was not standing for. I was not with it. I was not with it. Okay, so since day one, I have been talking about domestic assault, abuse, violence, all of that. I've been talking about all that on my channel and how I've been like X across of it. And I don't stand for it no matter who it comes from. Right? So when I saw this, it just immediately just made me upset because I'm like, dude, what is you doing? So he spent multiple seasons being the AHL coach for, I forgot the team, but he was an AHL, which is one of the minors of the NHL. There's AHL, then there's ECHL. Those two teams is kind of like the NBA G League. It's literally just the NBA G League hockey version. So those players move up and down. And of course, where they get their typical coaches from those who coach in the ECHL and AHL. And a lot of times they push and move them up, or they'll get them from college. But in his case, he spent 3 years with that team. He did really, really well. He got them lots of success, and he was being considered for higher roles for head coaching jobs. And during that time of him interviewing and being in the runs for these head coaching jobs, like the Seattle Kraken, the Capitals, and I believe it was, I want to say the Pittsburgh Penguins. I want to say that was the other team. As he was interviewing, there were letters being sent to their ownerships and people who were basically higher ups, the front offices of these teams, saying what these allegations were. Now, he was essentially hired as an assistant coach for the Capitals, and then he was placed on leave because they were doing an investigation. They wanted to look into the letters, because one thing that I can say so far that I've seen with the NHL, they have been very snap quick when it comes to situations of domestic violence, abuse, assault. So they put him on leave, they did the investigation, and they came back and they relieved him of his duties. So that's telling me that there had to be some truth in what was in those allegations and what was in those letters for them to come back and relieve him of his duties effective immediately. So he is no longer with the Capitals, and he's probably done within the NHL coaching arena. I do not see any other team bringing him on as a coach, bringing him on as a head coach at that, or any type of having any type of doings when it comes to him, especially when it came down from the league. So he's going to be blackballed for sure. And I've said this on many other occasions. If your personal and your private life is dysfunctional and it's all over the place, at some point it is going to bleed into your career one way or the other. And this is another example of that. His home life was absolutely atrocious. He was doing viable, disgusting crimes, allegedly beating up on his wife, and it got out. Whether if she put it out, whether if somebody in the league put it out, whether if whoever decided to put it out there, because it was an anonymous letter. And they did the investigation, and now you have no career. You have no career. And regardless if the wife stays or goes, you still have no career. You can't even take care and provide for your family now, because the job that was helping you do that, you now have lost it because you can't hold in you lost your cool. You lost your career because you lost your cool on multiple occasions, allegedly. So what do you do now? Where do you go from here? What do you do? Mitch? Mitch no love? Because I don't know how your last name Love, and you ain't been showing no love. You ain't been giving no love. There is no love. So Mitch has found himself on the hot seat, and it sucks because it's like you couldn't find a way to let out your anger. Maybe go slap some pucks around on the ice. You know, hockey is one of those sports where you can knock each other out. You should have put on a helmet. You should have put your gear on, and you should have went out there. Hell, even if it was just in practice, you should have been like, I need to let out some anger, and you should have put out your anger that way, not putting your hands on your partner. How do you put your hands on a person that you're supposed to love? That's always my question when it comes to that. I've always had that question. Always. From seeing it, growing up and all that. Never understood. How do you physically beat someone up and beat the person up that you're supposed to love? Never understood that. So, yeah, Mitch is now out of a job. And on the flip side of that, if you are an assistant hockey coach, the Capitals may have an opening. Okay. Yeah, Mitch, no love. Gotta go, guy. Another one. This one is criminal. So this is Ryan Kesler. Ryan Kesler is currently facing criminal charges. And I got an article with that one, because I just saw this one. So, although he is now no longer in the NHL, it says NHL center Ryan Kesler faces criminal actual conduct charges. He has been charged with this in Michigan, and all the information that's in this article right now are according to court records obtained by multiple outlets. So this has been researched. The stuff that's in here is facts from his records, but we're still going to say allegedly, because I'm a small fish in a big pond. I'm not trying to get sued. Okay? So Kesler pled not guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of 4th-degree criminal actual conduct on Monday in Bloomfield Hills District Court, according to the court records. He posted a $50,000 bond, so he still got some money, and was ordered not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's permission. His next scheduled appearance in the court is scheduled for November the 6th. So they're moving this thing right along. Sometimes, the court cases be a month, 2 months, 3 months out. This one is right around the corner. They say, we don't have no time to play. We're going to put this on a docket. We want this out of our courts. Kesler has denied the charges. Obviously, he said that he's not guilty, which were filed last Thursday and stemmed from 2 alleged incidents back in January in Orchard Lake, Michigan. Then it says, Ryan empathetically denies the allegations and is completely innocent of the charges, says his attorney. If his attorney didn't say anything else, I would have said you need to fire your attorney and get a new one, but he understands his job. Okay. And it says, as the legal process begins, we ask for respect for his privacy and for the integrity of the judicial system. We are confident, when all the facts and circumstances are presented, that he will be fully exonerated. Okay? And now I'm going to give you what's in the complaint. The complaint that was obtained by the Athletic. So the Athletic is the source here. Okay? It says that both counts allege Kesler engaged in actual contact with a 16-year-old child through force or coercion, and or had a reason to know the victim was physically helpless. Kesler's 41 years old. Okay? He has been suspended from his role as a youth hockey coach by the Michigan Amateur Hockey Association. Tom Berry, the president of the Hockey Association, says that he's also been suspended from all USA hockey activities. Kesler was in his 3rd season coaching the Detroit area Little Caesars AAA or AAA Hockey Club 150 Bantam midget team. That is a mouthful. That is a lot. Can we shorten that name a little bit? Just a little bit? No, we couldn't. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop playing. Kesler played parts of 15 seasons with the Vancouver Canucks and the Anaheim Ducks, appearing in 1,100 regular season games from 2003 to 2019. A 2-time All-Star, Kesler has 258 goals and 315 assists in his career, and he won the Selk Award, given to the NHL's best two-way forward after the 2010 to 11 season. The Michigan native was also a member of the U.S. Olympic teams in 2010 and 2014. Yeah. And now he's going down. Yes. So, and it didn't say if it was a girl or it didn't say if it was a boy in these alleged allegations. My thought is that it's probably a little boy, since he was coaching hockey, and I'm gonna assume, I'm just assuming here, these aren't facts, I just read you the facts, but I'm gonna assume from reading that in the context that it had to do something probably with one of his players or something on the hockey team. That's what I'm assuming. Again, all of the facts and all the evidence has not come out yet, but that is the complaint that is being charged against him, that he was actually involved with a minor, being a 16-year-old. And that's even worse, chill. That's even worse. If you know you like younger, at least make it legal. Why are you interested or even lustful over somebody that is 16? We got to make that make sense. Does not make sense. But I don't have all of the full evidence in this case. I definitely will bring it once I get it, receive it, and see it. But right now, he is being charged. He is not in jail because he bonded out, but he's saying that he is innocent. And they're going to have to literally prove that one. They're going to have to prove that one for sure. They're going to have to prove that one. So hopefully he has some type of messages, a video, something. It's going to have to be something, because if it's saying he was actually involved with them, there has to be some evidence somewhere that can get him a little sticky. I need to see it. I don't know. That's a tough one there. And I don't even play with no stuff like that. We don't play with nothing like that when it comes to situations. No. So Ryan Kesler, everyone, we will keep our eyes on him up in Michigan. I only got two more. And this is one of the two. This is actually a good story. So we're going back on the up. I know I went down, I went up, I went down. Now we're going back up. This is Sidney Crosby. He is now the 9th. Yeah. We're going to start again. Okay. This is Sidney Crosby, and he is now the 9th player in NHL history to reach 1,700 points. He is the 4th to ever do it on his team. This is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay? So he puts himself right into history. He cements himself in that top 10 of getting to that point of reaching that many points in his career. And he is doing a phenomenal job. He did make this mark his previous game. And he's smooth sailing from here. He's doing everything that he needs to do. So I just wanted to, what do we do? Give a round of applause to Sidney Crosby. On the flip side, though, at the same game, during that same time, a fan fell from the upper deck. He fell from the upper deck at the arena playing the game. At this point, the Penguins are up 2-0. They had just scored a goal, and he ends up falling in the arena. He's hurt, and he's currently in critical condition. They did not release his identity and his name and all of those things. And when I immediately heard that it was after a goal or when they were up 2-0, I'm thinking that he was so excited and lit that he probably just fell from the top. But that's also why I say I don't go up there. Not only do I have a fear of heights, I have a fear of something like that happening. I get up, I'm jumping, I'm too excited, we lit, because especially at hockey games, if you've never been to a live hockey game setting, you need to go. You just need to go. But don't go sit at the top. Okay? Please don't go sit at the top. But when you go, right? It's so lit, especially when they score a goal. Like beer flies. Well, they're professional beer handlers there, so the beer's probably not going to fly. But the popcorn definitely flies. The popcorn going to fly. You may catch a hot dog in your hair. You may see some wing sauce going places. Listen, when I was a cheerleader with the Flyers, all the time my palm was knocking things out of people's hands when they was cheering. I definitely seen some cheese dip right in front of my feet, jumping up, people just everywhere. Things fly. And you get so excited and you're so lit and you're like, yeah, so it's very possible. It's very possible. Okay. Again, this is my opinion now, that he was a little too hype and forgot where he was at and failed. Right. But I don't have all the other details. So I'm going to have to follow up with that one too. I'm going to have to do a show where it's just follow-ups. Okay? But he is in critical condition, so I do want to send my prayers, my prayers up to his family, that he recovers from this fall and that we get some more information as to understand what exactly happened. And, they did mention in the article, not in Crosby's article, but another article, saying that, the game just continued on. They didn't stop the game of play or anything. And, reading that, you could be like, oh my gosh, they're so heartless. Like, they didn't know what was going on. Crosby and them didn't know what happened until after the game. And you'll be surprised, honestly, that a lot of stuff happens at arenas and games, and the show must go on. The show doesn't stop unless it's something that's like a player's actually injured on the field, on the ice, on the court. That's when the show stops. He was in the upper level and upper deck. They're not stopping the game for that. They have EMS people who are there, who go to exactly where they need to go. They'll treat him on site. And if he needs to get into an ambulance, they'll call it up, route it to the back. They'll roll him out or pick him up and take him out, put him in the ambulance and take him away. And you'll never know that it happened. You'll never know unless you were in that section or around that area and you got to see it for yourself. There's been so many different incidents. Again, I've been a cheerleader for a lot of teams. And every time, sometimes I've seen for my own self incidents happening. We've moved out, they moved us out the way. Things happen. They clean it up. They clear it up. They take them out. They do what they got to do, and they move them on. When I used to be a supervisor on the club level for the Ravens, things happened all the time. We had a fan fall and hit his face, and just gushiness everywhere. And during that time, what happened? We put in the report. We had to call for maintenance. We call for the EMS. We call for the fire department and the police. They come up there. They assess the situation. They handle it from there, and the show keeps going. You never know when things are happening at the show, happening at the game, unless it happens to the point where it is a complete distraction from the game. Or like that time, or if something happened on the court, like if you're at a basketball game and you're sitting courtside and you do something that's courtside, that's going to stop the game because you are courtside. When you're in the upper decks, it's rare. It's rare that they'll stop anything. Do you know how big of an operation that is? That's a huge operation. So I can imagine that the same thing going on at the arena. They have people in place as part of the operations and safety team. They have things in place where they will take care of it. And it is their job to take care of it to keep the show going. Because what is the saying? The show must go on. So I don't want people to take that part and make it seem like it's a heartless thing. No, it's just operations and show business, honestly. Operations and show business. I mean, artists fall off the stage all the time and they get back up and keep going because the show must go on. So that's just my 2 cents about that and saying that. But again, the last thing on my list is the legendary Misty Copeland has retired from the American Ballet Theater after having a 25-year career. She says that she got to the point where she feels as though that this chapter is complete and she's ready to focus on other things such as her family, her husband, and her son, focusing on being a mentor, really pushing and continue to break the barriers for ballet outside of being on the stage, and just really continuing her legacy in a different way, in a different form. And gosh, what a beautiful and longevity career that she's had. And she started dancing when she was 13 years old. And for her to become one of the best, if not the best ballerinas, it's just in the world, it's just like, wow, so amazing. So I really do wish that I was able to see her at the ballet at one time in her career. but I guess I'll just have to stick to the YouTube videos and just watching it and replay it over. I love all the flowers and everything when she did her encore and her very last performance on stage, and she came out with just so much grace. And it's like, wow, this woman is just the epitome of grace and of beauty and art. And I love everything about Misty Copeland, and I just love the fact that she was able to break the barrier down. And it also kind of gives you some inspiration. Again, having someone start ballet so late in the dance world, that's considered late to start your career, and look where she's gone. Look what she has done and accomplished and achieved, all while also finding love in her life. And she has been married since 2016, and she has a 3-year-old son. So she has done this all the while being a wife, and then turning around and being a mother, and still having the career and dreams that she has had. So that's not a testament to what you can do as a woman, specifically as a Black woman. There is no way that we can sit here and say that there's anything that we cannot do. In general, if you want to do something, you can have it all. You can have it all. Especially, you can have it all. With a supportive partner, you can have it all. Misty Copeland is the example of having it all. So there is no excuse, okay? There's nobody in your way. It's nobody in your way. You were in your own way, because she has done things unimaginable. And guess what? She's a woman of color. She's a woman of color. And she started dancing and breaking down the barriers at times where it was very, very hard for her. And she still kept it. She still kept the drive and kept her career alive for 25 years. There is nothing that you can tell me, nothing that you can say to me that is going to ever make me think the opposite or otherwise of the amount of success and career and having it all. There's nothing that you can tell me, because there's too many examples of us showing that that is false. So congratulations to Misty Copeland. What a wonderful career she's had, and I can't wait to see her bloom more. She's really a private person, so I don't really think we'll see more of her husband and her son Jackson. He is 3 now at this point, but I don't think that we will see much of her family, because she has always been a super private person and not allowing her family to really be in that limelight. And it's not because she didn't want it to take away from ballet. I just think that she understood that your family doesn't have to be at the forefront in the media for you to be, or to still have this level of success. I don't think that her husband is very successful. He's a successful lawyer, and they live in New York, and they've built this life together where he has been the most supportive person, and he has really pushed her to be the best and allowed her to see that she can really be the best and have it all and do everything that her heart desires within ballet. So I am super excited about her going into this next chapter of her life. I think it is so beautiful, and again, so motivational. And if you don't take something from that, well, I don't know what I can tell you for you to take something from that. But yeah, Misty did her thing, y'all, for 25 years. 25 years. Crazy. 25 years. I'm astounded. But that is the end of my show. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Subscribe. If you're already subscribed, tell someone else to subscribe. Make sure you follow me on social media and all the other platforms at PG Love Sports. It's Pretty Girls Love Sports. You can just find me. I'm literally the only, well, no, there's another person. She's a fake clothing person, and I'm going to take her down. But outside of that, I'm the only other person who has at PG Love Sports or at Pretty Girls Love Sports. I am me, she is her, and that is the thing. If you want to support in any way, you can go to the merch shop. I need more suggestions for men, so please send me male recommendations for merch, but that's at pglovesports.com. You can always support again at prettygirlsmedia.com. Subscribe to the free newspaper. It comes out on Tuesdays in the mornings. It is free. All you need is your email address. Go to prettygirlsmedia.com. Scroll to the bottom where it says subscribe here. Type in your email address and huzzah! You are signed up. I do make custom merch. You can always send me an email or a DM on any of the social platforms. If you want me to be a host, if you want me to be on your podcast, if you want me to create you some content, if you need some media help, if you need me to revamp your business or your social media, I do that as well. You can feel free to send me an email at media@pglovesports.org. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys on Thursday. I will be on at 9, or I'll probably get on a little bit earlier, but I will be here. So be here or be square. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you guys. Bye.